children, adults, grandparents, people of all ages. Here, let me adjust my light a little bit. You might be a cat, you might be a dog, or anything in between, or an inanimate object. It is currently 1 a.m. on Saturday, October 22nd, I think. It's been an interesting night, hence why I just have to do this video. I'm frustrated. Actually, frustrated is an understatement. I am plain downright disgusted. Alright. For starters, well, okay. Western Digital has, for the longest time, been the hard drive brand I primarily use. Now, I don't 100% of the time use them, but probably 80 to 90% of the time I use their drives. Now, I know there are some people that hate Western Digital, and there are some people that love Western Digital. But after my multitude of negative experiences lately with their drives, I think I'm going to have to switch. Now, this beast here, it's 3.5 years old. It's getting up there in age. Maybe in a year I might build a new one, if I have the patience to do so after this recent experience. Anyway, it originally had a Seagate drive in it. One of the few times I actually went something different. So I had a Seagate drive in it. It lasted maybe 2 years. And then it just decided that it'd start being unresponsive. It just freeze up all the time. No hard drive activity. It just stall all the time. It was the hard drive. It wasn't a Windows problem. So anyway, I go on Newegg.com, where I buy a lot of my stuff. Now, this is not, I will tell you right now, this is not a video against Newegg.com. They are a good place. I do recommend them. Anyway, buy a 750 gig Western Digital Black Edition to replace that 500 gig Seagate I had. It comes. The 500 gig Seagate was still barely operational, so I was able to directly transfer my Windows install with everything onto the 750 gig. And it was almost seamless. Okay. Well, 2 to 3 weeks later, this Western Digital basically did the same exact thing that Seagate did. Except for the hard drive activity light was on all the time. It was just thrashing all the time, acting like it was thrashing, and the computer would just freeze. Completely. Explorer would crash. Explorer wouldn't even respond. I couldn't even get Task Manager, and the whole thing would just freeze. Frozen. I was like, oh great, here we go again. And yet, and if you shut off the computer and turn it back on, it'll work fine for 5-10 minutes or so, and it'll start thrashing and endlessly again until you shut it off. It's definitely a hard drive issue. Anyway, it got to a point it was completely unusable, and I had to pull that hard drive, send it back to Newegg to get a replacement. I got a replacement identical 750 gig Western Digital Black Edition. Knock on wood, thus far, that one's been okay. I haven't had any problems since. Alright. Now, moving forward, I have not really purchased any components for computers in quite some time. I haven't had any computers to build. Nothing really to repair. It's been pretty quiet. Well, the noise is back. Alright, so, a week ago, I have a Western Digital 1.5 terabyte. It's a Western Digital Essentials drive, external, and I use it for backup. Fortunately, it's just for backup, as I'm about to get to. Anyway, I have Windows 7 set to run backups every single week on Sundays, okay? Well, I also have Microsoft Outlook, and I have a little add-on with Outlook where it runs a backup also every week or so. When you close Outlook, it asks you to save it. Well, anyway, about Thursday last week, exit Outlook, it asked me to do the backup. Okay, so I hit run backup, and it comes up and says, this folder does not exist. Would you like to create it? And I'm like, what? I've never had problems with the backup before. What's going on? So immediately I open up my computer, or computer, whatever you want to call it, and that external drive is not even present at all. An Explorer or that. So like, okay, fine, I'll do the simple stuff first. Unplug the drive, plug it back in. When Windows makes the detect sound, you hear it go. Okay, so it makes those weird, stupid sounds. Alright, so I know it's detecting it. I go into disk management, it's there. But guess what? Hard drive shows 100% free space in a raw file system. It's like, oh my god. Alright, so I go ahead, re-add the drive letter, put it back in Explorer, my computer, whatever the heck you want to call it. And, of course, I had to reformat it. Now, like I said, it's a backup drive, thank goodness. So all I had to do is, well, all I had to do is actually took some time, but I had to back up my whole machine to it again, recreate disk images, which aren't as clean as I'd like them. So I like to install the programs freshly and the updates, and then do a disk image without any personal files. Well, that isn't going to be the case now. So anyway, I made disk images again. I had to do all that crap again. I also have like programs where I software share on it, so I don't have to run around to millions of computers. Okay. So, for the time being, it's been working. If it does it again, that hard drive's going bye-bye. It's going up to the lake next year, and I'm going to smash it and burn it. Kind of like all the other electronics, like you see in the intro of one of my all of my videos, actually. Okay. But I am not done. This is only the beginning of the drama, if you want to call it that. Okay, so mom and dad's computer, that's 5.5 years old. It doesn't have enough memory to really hold up to them anymore. CPU spikes, even though it's dual core. It's an older dual core, so it's showing its age. So anyway, building them a new computer. Okay, so I got it built Wednesday. It has a Western Digital, these are new by the way, a Western Digital Black Edition 500 gig drive, and a Western Digital Black Edition 1 terabyte drives. These are their higher end drives, not like the Raptors and that. Raptor Cloud. But, you know, one of their higher ends. It's not their blue edition or their green edition. Okay. I get the computer put together, turn it on, it posts. That's always a good sign when you build a new computer, that it posts, because sometimes they don't. Normally they throw fits with like memory or something like that. But it posts, it detects all the hardware. Okay, I put in Windows to go ahead and start installing it. Boots into the disk. I intended to put Windows on the 500 gig, and then just all the other data would go on the 1 terabyte drive. So I start to install Windows, and of course during the install it wants to restart your computer, and then it continues to install. When it restarts, guess what? Such and such file is corrupt. Such and such file is corrupt. And it won't boot back into the installer because such and such file is corrupt. Okay, so it's like, oh great. So it's like, maybe the DVD's just dirty. Okay, so I clean the disc, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I'm at it because I don't want to take all the time. Let's just try putting it on the 1 terabyte drive. It installs just fine. Alright. I did not activate it or anything because I wasn't done with my work yet. So it's like, okay, well, now let's put it back. Try the 500 gig again. Maybe it was just the disk being dirty or something. So I run on the 500 gig, corrupt error messages again. It's like, oh, great. It's like, okay, well, let's try one more thing. Let's try changing the positions of the drive so that the 500 gig is the secondary and the 1 terabyte is the primary, and it won't be connected to the same SATA cables in case the SATA cable's bad by chance, or the connection on the motherboard's bad. This would eliminate that too. So I switched that. Still corrupt error messages. Okay, great. So anyway, 500 gig hard drive, pulled it out on Friday. Or Thursday, went on Newegg, their chat support, to get it returned, waive the restocking fee, and they are paying for the whole shipping costs for the refund of it. Newegg's customer service is excellent. I've never had any problems with them. Alright, so anyway, Thursday I decided also I didn't really want to have to wait for a new hard drive to come. So I looked around, and well, Best Buy actually happens to have a 1 terabyte drive, Black Edition, on sale for $90. A little bit more than I can get it elsewhere, but I wanted this computer fixed and out of my hair. Alright, so I go get that drive. I put it in. Now I'm installing Windows. Now this computer has 2 1 terabyte drives instead of a 1 terabyte and a 500 gig, okay? Well, I installed Windows on the pre-existing 1 terabyte drive, not the new one from Best Buy. Well, it was still new anyway, but the one from Newegg, not the one from Best Buy. Alright, it installs just fine again. I got it activated. Of course, it didn't want to activate. It's Family Pack, Windows 7 Family Pack, and it had already been installed on 3 PCs, so I had to axe it on one computer and put it on there, and it won't activate without calling them. Well, their automated system doesn't even have the consideration for the Family Pack, so you have to say 1 computer instead of 2 or 3. So you had to kind of play around, and the whole thing's automated now. They don't have any person you can talk to explain to them. So you have to kind of cheat the system, even though it's still legal. It's just their system doesn't set up for the Family Pack. Okay, enough rambling about that. Get Windows installed, get everything installed, make a recovery file of a backup of that data, and put it on the other 1 terabyte Western Digital drive that I got from Best Buy. It's working just fine so far, by the way, although it's only been 2 days. Okay. Tonight, well, Friday now, I guess, so you can say last night now, get everything installed. It's finally coming together, almost there. Just gotta go shut off some of the stuff in MS-config that I don't want to start up, and go and defragment. Okay, almost there. Once defragmenting's done, I'm about ready to turn this thing loose to the mother, and it's done and out of my hair, hopefully. Okay, defragment. There's about 70 gigs total on drive C, this pre-existing Newegg 1 terabyte drive. 75 gigs. It takes 2.5 hours to defragment. 2.5 hours. That is ridiculous. And I know when you have freshly installed all this crap that it takes a little longer because it's fragmented somewhat, but it shouldn't take 2.5 hours. Anyway, in each pass, and of course this is Windows 7's defragmenter, each pass took just as long as the one before it. It took 12 passes, and each pass was agonizing to watch. Each pass took forever. It never really got any faster. It's like, this hard drive just seems a little slow to me for it being a Black Edition and all this. Okay. You're starting to see that there's a problem coming up here. Alright, so anyway, I finally finished this defragment. I'm like, okay, great. All I'm going to do now is restart this computer, give it a fresh new restart, and then if all goes well, turn it loose. Well, guess what? All did not go well. Restart. On the boot up, Windows cannot start back up. Windows is unable to boot, and it starts doing like the startup repair thing that Windows 7 has built into it. And it ran and it ran and it ran. It says it could take a few minutes. Alright. Well, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's still going. It's like, oh God, come on. So I walk away from it, come down here to my hole, and then I go back up. I go down and up all the time. Weird. Right now I'd prefer to be down here than up there. So anyway, I go back up there. When I get up there, Windows is booted up. It's like, okay, good, maybe this is fixed now. Put in password, log in. It's like, I need to check and see what's changed. Let's go to MS-config, see if there's anything changed there. Well, in MS-config, everything I'd shut off is turned back on. Java, QuickTime, Adobe, all this crap. I don't want to start up with the computer. I decided to shut that off again. And I'm going around just testing, opening some of the programs just to make sure that they didn't get messed up in the transition of all this. Well, opening things, so far so good. I go to open Google Chrome. Whole thing just freezes. The hard drive starts thrashing, and the whole computer just freezes and becomes unresponsive. It's like, oh, great. It's like I've seen this repeat before. I've seen this happen on this computer here a couple times when I've had bad drives. It's like, oh great, I hope I don't have a bad drive. Especially seeing what I've seen with the defragmenting and boot up problems. It's starting to get kind of suspicious here. Something's up. Alright, so I already started it, and it works fine for a little while. 5 minutes maybe. And I'm just opening programs and stuff, and all of a sudden it just starts thrashing again. And it's not the same program. Google Chrome opened up right away the next time. It was something else. I opened up Explorer, actually opened up Computer, and it froze when I opened up Computer, and the drives wouldn't show up, and it just froze and thrashed again. Explorer stopped working. It wouldn't restart. It wouldn't do nothing. And you hit the power button to shut down, and you had to hold the power button in and shut it down. Start back up. Again, works fine for 5 minutes, and just randomly starts going nuts again. Thrashing and everything else. The hard drive light just stays on solid the whole time. Doesn't flicker. It's just on. And just thrashing and bogged down again. So, yet another Western Digital failure. So, if you look at if you do not count the one I just bought from Best Buy, which so far is working after 2 days. Let's see if it'll work in another 2 days. If you don't count that one now, and probably years range of the 4 I've purchased, or replaced, or what swapped, or whatever, 3 of the 4 of them have been bad. 3 of the 4 of them. And the one lonely one that, knock on wood, hasn't given me problems, and it's been well over a year, is one in here, the replacement one that's in here. What's going on with Western Digital's quality control here? This is really getting out of hand. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to probably start looking elsewhere for hard drives. I already intend on my next build, if it's going to be outrageously expensive, I know, but I am already intending on putting an SSD. Because A, it's not mechanical, and so and B, faster, theoretically, and C, theoretically a lot more reliable. Cons, of course, a lot more expensive and not as much space. And I'll probably still get another internal regular mechanical drive for storage, but that's down the road next year or whatever. Anyway, Western Digital, what has happened to your quality? I'm really getting concerned here. This is ridiculous. All these bad drives. And just in succession, back to back. I mean, come on, I bought, and remember now, like I said, this was a 750, 1 terabyte, a 500. None of them are the same drive, so it's not a defect on one specific drive. It's all of them. Or at least or I just have bad enough luck. No, I have bad luck. I have horribly bad luck. But I think this is a little outrageous now. So yeah, I'm really disgusted. It's almost depressing. So anyway, I'm going to be going to Newegg's web chat again. And now I'm going to be returning the 1 terabyte drive also for a refund. Newegg's going to start to wonder if I'm giving them crap when I'm not, and I'm having horribly bad luck. If they watch this video, I think they'll understand. Anyway, oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. Both of those hard drives I bought from Newegg, which isn't Newegg's fault, most likely. Both of those hard drives I bought, knew that computer, both of them failed. And neither of them were the same drive. Both were Western Digitals, however. Both black editions. I don't really care. I don't really care. I'm irritated. Okay, so anyway, tomorrow if their chat thing's open, if not, whenever their chat thing's open again, I'm gonna send that in for an RMA and a refund, and get yet another shipping label and send it off. And I'm gonna go to Best Buy again and buy another one of those 1 terabyte $90 drives. Yes, it's still Western Digital Black Edition, but I'm doing it to stay consistent. And if it goes bad, at least I can just go run right back to the store and not have to send it all back again. So, after I purchase this Western Digital drive, most likely from Best Buy tomorrow, I am done with Western Digital unless they can prove to me otherwise that they have turned things around quality-wise, because this Western Digital Elements is giving me fits. I had a 750 gig Western Digital last year on this computer that gave me fits, and I had this 500 gig drive in this new computer that gave me fits, and this 1 terabyte drive in this new computer that's only a couple days old that's now giving me fits as well. And so far the Best Buy one's working. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, it's a retail box instead of an OEM drive. Thus far it's working. For how long, I have no idea. Hopefully a long time, because I am not in the mood to deal with it again. So yes, it has been a lovely experience the past week. Alright, so I have vented long enough. My blood pressure is high. My energy is low. And I really am at a loss for words, because it is really frustrating and aggravating, and I don't think cuss words are enough. Alright, so this is Nerd Ngong, and I approved this message whether Western Digital does or not. Say bye-bye.